And a little battle for the Coleman tonight. He's on 35, Jack Rivoldi got that 11, and Buddy on 31, and closing pretty quickly. What a night they should have. Hello everybody and welcome to Carlton Draft Friday Night Footy. It's the Tigers 3-9 up against the Swans 9-3. Sydney with a real chance to get into the top two after the end of this weekend. First time they've ever played one another on a Friday night at the MCG. If you missed the countdown, this is what Trent Cotchin had to say about the tag against him and Brett Deledio.
Yeah, probably two different players. I mean, they generally put a really good runner on lids just with his speed and his outside play, and probably someone more contested around the contest for me. So that's probably the difference in both plays. Bird has in the past, and maybe even a Kieran Jack with like a pseudo roll trying to get forward on me. So I just got to watch me back.
And Lee Matthews and Wayne Carey rejoin me. You're part of the interview there. Let's talk about Buddy Franklin and his form this year. I mean, we've seen those spectacular goals in the countdown.
He's back.
Yeah.
We thought he'd left his Hawthorn best back at Hawthorn, but he's taken it to Sydney all of a sudden. He's last month. He's the most watchable player in the game, so it's fun to be here when he's playing.
Yeah, totally agree, Lee. I think what he's got back to is exactly that. I mean, I guess in 2008 he was a pretty good mark. I think he lost himself for a while, but now just one-on-one he looks so dangerous. He used to hit the ball to the ground. Now he's taking contested marks, and I agree with you, Lee. I think that he's the guy that you pay money to come and watch.
Yeah, no question about it. He is the biggest star in the game, isn't he?
Yeah, he is again. Yeah.
And you do feel like he's getting close to where he was in those glory days. So at the moment, all sweet for the Swans. I mean, no Tippett tonight, obviously, no Tippett last week. That goal he kicked last week, that long one, we saw something similar in the 2012 grand final. It was a monster. I mean, Carlo was corralling him. Well, they got the measurement out during the week, and it came in at, I think, 68.5 metres.
That's just a long kick. There's not too many that can have a 70-metre carry.
No, and that's his type of kick, isn't it? Where he turns onto his left foot, and that pendulum that he gets a lot of distance, and he kicks them quite low as well.
Low and flat.
So we're talking about 75 yards in the old. I mean, that's just quite remarkable, isn't it? Well, Damien Hardwick thinks that he's pretty close to what he was in those great days at Hawthorn.
Yeah, he's an impressive player. You know, Alex has got a pretty good record on Buddy the last couple of times he's played. By no means guarantees that Buddy's going to have a quiet game. I think he's actually improved. It's probably the first time I've seen him be a real dominant force in contested marking, which, you know, from my time at Hawthorn there, it was never a strength of his. Alex is probably at his best when he's one-on-one, so we're prepared to back him in that stage, and hopefully our team defence takes care of the ball movement up the field.
And under Hardwick, they are 3-3 against the Swans. So Alex Rance, a big night for him. Richo, what are a couple of things he's got to do tonight?
Well, first and foremost, Alex needs support from his forwards and midfielders up the ground. They've got to put a heap of pressure on the Sydney midfielders. If Buddy gets good ball, he's going to carve any team up. You can't concede Buddy any ball 60 to 70 metres out, because as we saw last week, he can hurt you from anywhere. Rance is a really good intercept player. He judges the ball really well in the air, and he can gain plenty of possession. I'd just love to see him back himself, try and win his own footy. Don't get too conscious of Buddy Franklin and where he is, and just play the ball on its merits. If he does that, he has a good chance tonight of breaking even with Buddy, no doubt about that.
Well, they're two really great athletes, aren't they, Franklin and Rance? The Toyota keys to the game tonight. We've actually picked out the Sydney defence. Lee, you mentioned in the countdown tonight about how good Richards is, but the bounce they're getting off half-back is always impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's Malcheski and Shaw and these guys. I mean, the run that they, and also Laidler, I mean, it's that run off half-back, that run and carry that it makes it easy for Buddy because it creates movement, creates space, and they've been much talked about, obviously, their forward line and their midfield, but this is a great strength of Sydney's.
Of the running halfbacks, all of a sudden Malcheski's become the absolute elite. You know, he's just become a really good runner and carrier, so a real strength for the Swans, that is now.
Well, a debutant tonight is Zach Jones, and his brother Nathan Jones is with us tonight. He's with his wife Jerry in the stands. Nathan, you must be a really proud brother tonight.
Yeah, mate. I just tweeted before that I'm probably as excited, if not more excited, than the first time I debuted. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to it. It's an exciting weekend for the family.
Those backyard matches must have been pretty interesting. I read about them today. He said you were always good with the skills, but the middle brother Josh was a real hard nut. Can you tell us a bit about those, mate?
Yeah, well, you know, as he's got older, I've just... Yeah, sorry, guys. As he got older, I've just, you know, tried to teach him the finer details, but we used to beat up on him, obviously, because he was the youngest of the three of us, and yeah, definitely my middle brother. He's probably the one that, you know, really showed him the ropes and beat him down a few times, but yeah, we're both really excited for him, and he's really earned his opportunity, and it's going to be a great night for the family, like I said.
Nathan, when players run onto the MCG, I always think they're the calmest people in the stadium. You sitting there in the stands watching your brother, fair bit more tension than when you're about to play?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. I had a few nerves coming in, more so just so, you know, he's getting his first opportunity, but you always want to play well and make an impact. And but, you know, I spoke to him a couple of times today and hung out with him for a few hours yesterday afternoon, and he was more relaxed than I've ever seen him. So, yeah, he's just looking forward to getting out there and playing his role, and he's obviously really excited to be cracking into a pretty strong Swans side, and yeah, he's just really looking forward to it.
Nathan, you must be a little bit jealous. Melbourne doesn't get to play too many Friday night games. He's playing on the big stage tonight.
Yeah, well, he's always comparing himself, and we're always challenging each other. It's pretty competitive, as you'd probably know, with two or three brothers, but yeah, look, I'm excited for him. He's already rubbed that one in, and he's rubbed in the fact that he's debuting a couple of games before I actually did. So he's got one up there, and obviously the night he got drafted, we were comparing where he got picked up and where I got picked up. So there's always competitiveness, and I'm sure he'll go out tonight and have a good game.
Good on you, mate, and good luck over the weekend. Play Sunday, and on Monday, Jerry, who's sitting alongside him, they're going to have a little baby. So, yeah. Well, good on you, Nathan. Up to you, Dennis. There's a lot on the Jones mind right now.
Yes, he keeps getting better and better, Nathan, too, doesn't he?
Oh, he's been a fantastic player and a fantastic leader for the Melbourne Footy Club, and you get the sense if Zach ends up being half the player that Nathan is, the Swans have got a ripper.
And speaking of getting better and better, what about these Sydney Swans? On a roll.
Oh, they no doubt about that. Mike Pike comes in. They're playing the two ruckmen. Tom Derrick's up against his former side, Richmond. Hanbury obviously comes out. That makes the role of Kieran, Jack and McVeigh really interesting to see how much time they spend through the middle of the ground.
Harry Cunningham, 11 goals for the season, a best of 4. Transition taking place within this team. Some youngsters coming on despite their success, as we said earlier.
Absolutely. The best clubs, that's what they do. They contend whilst also bringing youth in. And Harry Cunningham, really highly rated. A new contract pending was reported in the media this week. He's been playing in the forward line. He may get a run through the middle of the ground in the next month or so with Dan Hanbury out. Southern New South Wales boy from Wayne's part of the world, Turvey Park in Wagga Wagga. But he'll really enjoy playing tonight on the MCG.
So the Swans about to come onto the MCG, a record of 9-3, looking to make it 9 straight. Team record is 12 straight, going back to 1935, I think, Tom. So they're making history in their own way. And looking at their draw, they could quite easily go beyond 12.
Well, their winning streak of 8 at the moment has included some big wins against some quality opposition. The game last week against Port Adelaide was outstanding. They're the informed team in the competition, no doubt, Dan.
What about the record, too? Haven't beaten the Tigers, though, here at the MCG since round 9 of 2009. So still something of a bogey team for them, on this ground at least. But in recent weeks, they're carrying all before them. Although last week they got a scare.
They certainly did. They came up against an outstanding side in Port Adelaide. So expect them to be ferocious tonight, Dan.
Here's Richo with John Longmire.
Well, Johnny, only your second time on the MCG this year. You must be looking forward to playing on there.
Yeah, we are. It's good to get back here. We really enjoy playing here, and you know, we've got to make sure we have a really good, strong game against the Tigers, who have been pretty good form the last month.
Dan Hanbury out of the side tonight. What does that mean for your midfield? Who spends more time in there?
Probably a combination of a few players, Harry Cunningham, Jake Lloyd, some of the younger blokes that we've brought into the team. They'll certainly spend some more time there. And even a bloke like Adam Goods, they need to spend some more time. We know it's a big running game.
Mike Pike back into the team. 2 ruckmen for the first time in a few weeks. How does that change things for you?
Oh, yeah, it's something we've done before, obviously, at different times, so it's not completely unusual for us. We've got 2 ruckmen we're up against tonight that are pretty strong in that area. We want to make sure we keep that area of the ground in control and make sure we sort of share the load.
What about the Tigers? They were a lot better against Fremantle last week. You'd be expecting a pretty good contest.
Absolutely. They had more inside 50s, more ground balls. A lot of their stats looked pretty good, and it wasn't for Fremantle kicking straight, they probably would have won. So, we know that they're in better form now, and they're a pretty good team.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, Richard.
So the Tigers, saw them last week, not overly impressive, particularly late in the game, Tom. You saw the same match.
Yeah, absolutely. They were strong at the contest, and they'll need to be with players like Jared McVeigh in the side, the co-captain. I mean, they have an unbelievable record of developing great leaders. Started ironically with an ex-Tiger and Stewie Maxfield. The cam was carried by the likes of Brett Kirk and Craig Bolton and Jared McVeigh and Kieran Jack. They'll play an interesting role tonight with Hanbury out of the side, so I expect to see their co-captains in the middle of the ground for the Swans tonight.
Coming off 24 possessions and 2 goals last week, McVeigh. And now the Tigers, they've made a couple of changes this week. Conker and Thomas come back into their team. Currently at 3-9, the reverse of the Sydney Swans. Fever pitch, Tommy, fever pitch. Look at this.
This is exciting, and they need to come out fire and brimstone, the Tigers. Their effort was, you don't want to drop the bat.
Well, let's do it.
That bloke just did. But
oh, no.
Their effort last week was good. They just lacked the polish and a bit of structure around the ball, which comes with experience. But there were signs last week, and probably the last 2 weeks, that they were getting back to winning their contested ball and tackling a lot more ferociously.
15th on the ladder. They've lost 6 of their last 7. We mentioned a couple of changes for them tonight. Obviously, they need a change of attitude as well. They fell away late in the game last week. Deledio, how did you rate his game last week?
Oh, look, I'd love to see Deledio play in the middle of the ground and take the game by the scruff of the neck. He spent time in the forward line predominantly last week. Maybe it's a conditioning thing for him. I like Matt Thomas coming into the side, the ex-Port Adelaide player. He provides some grunt, and if you ever need grunt, it's against the Sydney Swans. Reece Conker, he's part of that middle band of players that need to take the next step if they're going to be serious contenders in the future.
There's Conker, Matt Thomas before him, getting another chance tonight. So a big job as far as these Tigers are concerned at the MCG. Can they stop this runaway train? He's part of it. The Sydney Swans are on a roll. It's Friday night football. It's Richmond and Sydney.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Pressure. First contest. First contest. Here we go. Set yourself. Go to that, Trent. You need this one, Trent. No touch.
How far can aggression take you?
Now, the intensity and the energy's there from Richmond at the moment.
Last week, the Tigers hit the Dockers with force.
What is it, 9.5 minutes and the Tigers have dominated?
A fury built up through weeks of stinging criticism and questions that cut to the quick.
Let's just say that, your players are softer and like that, but if they're players in your group, they just don't like the context.
You can't say that, mate. I'm lucky in where I left hook over there. I say pushing again.
Yes, sir. Tigers on the march.
Damien Hardwick believes the Tigers are improving.
So the Tigers are in front of the G.
But long-suffering supporters are crying out for success.
You can't imagine what Damien Hardwick feels right now. The pressure must just be immense.
Richmond has lost 7 of its past 7 games. The Sydney Swans have won 8 of their past 8.
The siren sounds and Sydney win.
By any standard, the odds are against the Tigers. Perhaps tonight, the Tigers will hit.
And can the champ kick it? He does. He is silky.
And welcome back to Carlton Draft Friday Night Football. The first ever Friday night between these two sides here in Melbourne. Trent Cotchin coming off 27 possessions last week, but only 11 goals in his last 19 games. Still finding the footy, but not really dangerous up forward. It's a malaise that's hit most of his teammates as well. And waiting for him, Jared McVeigh.
Your call. That's tails. All right, thanks, boys.
The umpires tonight, Donlan, Dalgleish and Leppard. And the commentator selections. Well, there you go. They'll start pretty warm favourites tonight. Richard, though, obviously thinks the Tigers might give a yelp if Tigers do that. Better check that Toyota viewer poll too. The Sydney Swans premiership favourites. Well, there you go, 44 to 56. Well, it's changing by the moment, and obviously a few good teams around. Well, at least two. I know Lee likes Hawthorn and Port Adelaide, just not getting any respect, Lee.
Well, they haven't earned it only because you've got to earn it for about 12 months. Their last 6 months and their last 12 weeks has been just fantastic. But it takes a little while for mine to settle into my psyche, Tom. You've sort of got to earn a little bit longer.
It was a fantastic game last Saturday at the SCG between Port and Sydney, and they didn't lose any admirers, but I think until they win big finals, that's when they really start to matter. And we just saw Zach Jones, the debutant, on screen, and heard from his brother Nathan. One thing I think you can count on, he'll put his head over the footy, Zach Jones. 6
Jones have played for Sydney and or South Melbourne. I start doubting myself. I knew it was 5 or 6 coming in.
How many Zacks, eh?
No Zacks.
I was thinking the two captains when Cochin and McVeigh tossed the coin, and Cochin gets a lot of questioning about his captaincy, but I don't think it's so much the captaincy as the collective leadership around the Richmond football team, as opposed to the Swans, who have got a dozen good leaders within their group, not only just the captain.
There's the Richmond forward line, Hampson starting forward, and Jack Revolt obviously needs to hit the scoreboard. But back to your point about Cochin, I think you're right, Lee, very young captain too, so needs support, needs not only just with teammates but also from the coaching staff, and Rance, as expected, to go with Buddy Franklin.
Friday night football at the MCG, and the cloudy skies were underway. Great bounce. One down by Pike, back in the action. Kennedy turns 26 today. Well, he's turned, depending on when it happened. Now Goods is taken high. He'll get a free kick. Back end of the square. Adam Goods sends it out wide. Brandon Jack on the move, reaching over the top, trying to knock it away was Grimes. Nothing doing. Jack finds some space. Dangerous kick. Turns the defence around. Leading back is Rance. Bearing down Franklin. Spills to McVeigh. Tries to feed it across towards Parker. Well picked up by Cochin. Flicked on its way by Rance. And through it goes for a behind.
Just saw an example of the athleticism of both Rance and Franklin there.
Great play to coach Franklin. You can play him up in the wing. Tonight they've just started him deep forward, almost one on, one out around the full forward position with Rance's opponent.
Where do you like him, Duck Franklin? Where do you like him standing?
I actually like Lee just said. I like him roaming. I think then he's unpredictable. He can do anything. So he can always play up the ground. Not dissimilar to our great Matthew Richardson. I mean, he has that great running ability.
He's in the frame there after Laidler's kick towards him. Here's Jetta going back. Shaw, what a season he's having. Lee and Wayne talked about him, and I've done him in because Martin got him there. We haven't seen that happen too often for Shaw this year. He's been just so constructive and prolific. So Martin's kick okay.
Shaw's got the job on Deledio. Bruce, sorry to interrupt. He's had that role before.
This guy very impressive last week. Miles just give it across to a teammate. They work it towards the wing. Chaplin to Conker. Short one. Morris lunges at it, takes the mark right at the interchange gates.
Need to back themselves, the Tigers, and take some risks, particularly by foot. Their contest last week was fantastic, but just let themselves down with that final bit of polish.
Chaplin. Hooley goes across the ground. On the outer side, this is D. His 5th consecutive game. Best he's done with the Tigers. Short to Martin. Towards half forward. Well done. Flosstone slides in, takes the mark. He's about 70 metres from goal. Just towards the 50, and Revolt created some separation and took the mark a step or two ahead of that man Richards.
They went across the ground and then back a couple of times. All that means is the opposition are going to be back in your forward 50, so you've got to be precise, and as they did, they were slow. Then you've got to be patient to make sure you hit up the leading target. A long kick in would have been swamped by the Swans.
Well, 3 times this season he's kicked the Tigers' opening goal. Another chance right here. It'll take his best effort as the kick gets tired. Could go right to left. Richards not giving a centimetre. Well, he starts it out right. He just hangs there. So much for that idea. And through for a behind. It's a point apiece.
So Revolt missing there. Now this was at 6:30 tonight. So he was warming up at 6:30 tonight. So we go back to the action. So he missed a few, as we know last week. We talked about that pre-match. Brandon Jack's kick cut off, so good mark from Cochin. So trying to get it to his brother. And then Cochin with a slightly dangerous kick to Hooley. Hooley's going wide again. Oh, this could be dangerous. No, it's a good kick. Got to Rance. Martin had to backtrack a bit. Fends off Franklin. It's a confident player, Martin, isn't he? It's a good kick to Ellis. He's been good, Ellis. I mean, he's only 20. He's only missed 3 games since he started. He's going to be something, I reckon. Vlosten off a step. Another young player who's got a lot of upside. Marich wanted to give it and then goes to the pocket, and Revolt's got it a lot closer this time. Well, Richo, he missed the first, has to nail this.
Yeah, well, the first one outside 50, he hung it out to the right, but yeah, this one here, he must kick. And we know last week that he kicked 1 goal 5. There he is before the game. You nail them before the game because you don't have the mental pressure on the man in your head, Bruce. But I reckon this is crucial to his match tonight. If he kicks the first one, we know he is a good goal kicker when he gets on a roll.
So a big moment coming up for Jack. Second set shot. Looks good. Looks good. Squeezes it home. And the Tigers draw first blood.
Just when Jack Revolt kicks goals, I mean, it's great for his confidence. It's great for the confidence of the Richmond Footy Club as well. They didn't get reward for effort last week, but early stages look good for the Tigers.
Back in the middle. Marich got it down. Taken by Parker, though. Floats one towards half foot. Hooley did well. The last time Sydney conceded the first goal, back in round 5. Comes out towards the wing, does Hooley. Conker had it socked away by a teammate. It goes across the boundary line on the bounce. So a boundary throw in. Down towards right half forward.
To show that slow build-up football. They've had 17 marks, Richmond. They've owned the footy and they've just tried to share it around and done it successfully so far.
Derricks did well. Jack had it smothered. Goes again. Conker on the ground, petted. Ellis in trouble. That's holding the footy surely. Conker once again. High ball. Will it be a mark? I think it might be.
So 3 Swans to send. They don't. Conker breaks it. Foley back. Deledio. Petted. Well done, Conker. Interesting build-up. Poor kick. And Richards probably could have marked it. It's an interesting rule we've got here. I mean, he deliberately punched that ball out of bounds.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
I mean, that was just deliberate out of bounds.
Yeah, no, it
but we don't pay that.
Yeah, but if it's a spoil like that, it's just, what's the word? The exception to the rule maker.
Yeah, it's never really been challenged, has it?
No.
Hampson knocks it down. Miles quickly away. Hooley feeds it back. Chaplin. Oh, that's ambitious. Well played. Sends Hooley around his left side. Sends it down towards full forward. Edwards. Aaron Edwards, 11 metres out.
Where you are.
Nice stretch.
It's a potential area of vulnerability for the Swans, the third tall. And if we know Edwards not necessarily tall in stature, but certainly plays tall. Dane Rampy's the player who's often given that role as the third tall. Jeremy Laidler also, but there may be a little chink in the defensive armour there.
This is how they started last week. Didn't put the goals on the board, Lee.
Yeah, no, you got to take your chances.
Well, he does that. So the fast start comes from the Tigers. They're up by 12.
So first goal for the season for Aaron Edwards, and he might be a wild card tonight. He's only played a couple of games going in. Sydney have been so dominant, and Dennis talked about the fact they've had those early goals over the last 8 weeks. Martin, well done. Foley, so Richmond having a fantastic burst here. Popping kick to half forward. Marich had a little bit of it. Trying to break through, Pettit. Conker, no free kick. Ball not out. Well done, Kennedy. Did really well. Cunningham to Jack. Now he's just trying to buy a bit of time here, Jack. A one-on-one here. Wasn't a great kick. Gives Rance a better chance than Franklin. Well done, Rance. That just shows us some of the athleticism he's got.
He's a good player. Chaplin. Cochin started well. Been very bright. Gets it back from Hooley. Good kick too, up towards the wing. Hampson in space. Martin looks inside the forward 50. Low down again. It's Evans, or rather Edwards on the chest. About, well, right on the mark. The man on the mark. So he'll kick from about 55. Revolt leads out of bounds. That's interesting.
And calls for it.
He wants the footy regardless. There's a competitor. Meanwhile, Aaron Edwards, last one a soda. This one needs to be long and straight. It will fall a couple of metres short, forced across the line. Well played by Malcheski.
It's predominantly one-on-one in Richmond's forward line at the moment. Richmond have all the play. This is, as you said, Bruce, great athleticism from Rance.
Oh, he's done a good job a couple of times on Franklin. Franklin admittedly was in the Hawthorn jumper at the time, but Rance has done well in that matchup.
She cut off again, so Batchelor cutting that one off. Squaring it to Cochin. Well, Cochin said in the countdown tonight he wanted to get some early ball. Well, he's done that, hasn't he? He really has had an impact. He's up to 6 disposals. Is that 7, Den? So he's up to...
Sorry, it's a bung finger. 7,
okay, 7. Okay, so 6 plus 1. So Morris off a step, high ball, difficult ball to mark. Grundy courageously. Jetta should and does. It's a good long kick, Jetta, and he goes down the line. Interesting there, free kick to Reid. Yep.
I was saying moments ago, fundamentally a one-on-one game. The Swans not yet able to orchestrate a free player behind the ball. Richmond manning that up with every opportunity and playing a 7-man forward line. So plenty of numbers in the front half for the Tigers at the minute.
Brandon Jack got it from Reid. Sends it inside the forward 50. Plenty of Tigers there. Falls behind. Rance in midair, taken down by Franklin. Ball just trickles wide of them initially. Rance drags it back in, but the umpire says fair enough, he'll ball it up.
I reckon if you're John Longmire, you'd already be thinking maybe this Franklin-Rance matchup is better upfield rather than deep forward. They get Sam Reid or as a deep forward and change those matchups.
Marriage, brilliantly. Foley, a high ball towards the wing. Edwards feeling it, but fell over. Rampy on his knees, confronted by Delidio. Ball still in there. And the umpire whistles it up again.
Damien Harvick would be pleased with the intensity around the foot, even to watch this occasion here. Potentially a free kick for too high, but the Tigers are the first players in there. The Swans on the outer ring, so at the coalface, Richmond putting their head over the ball.
Seem to be winning the clearances. Vlosten can't get through, and it'll be another ball up.
Richmond are dominating on the outside. 44 uncontested possessions to 9. You don't get a dominance like that very often, so you need to make sure you convert on the scoreboard.
So a couple of goals in front. Derrick's good tap down. Kennedy can't break through. And again, we're going to have a ball up. So third time here, a stoppage in about the same spot.
Now Chesky behind the ball now for Sydney. Perfect player for that role.
Still about a 50-50. Kennedy did well not to give a free kick away. Chaplin, Cochin, Ellis, one down by Goods. Well played there by Layla, just getting the ball over the back. Gee, Jack was really good in close. Parker, hot footy, gets Marriage, dropped it down. Hooley taken, Kennedy fossing it out. McVeigh nearly, ball still not coming out, and I reckon he'll be picked. He was gone. A free kick.
And have a look at Richmond's efficiency there, 83%, which is going really high. Sydney Swans 55, which is probably low for them. But and the fact that they've had so much of the ball, they are really high figures.
Yep, but haven't given it back. That's the important bit, isn't it? Yeah, very effective.
Kennedy kicks inside the forward 50. Reid almost. Chaplin comes away, got it from Foley. Pettit on the lead.
He's doing the run with roll with Josh Kennedy tonight. Ricky Pettit.
Had his hands full last week doing it. They don't really have a recognised run-with player, do they?
Used to be Dan Jackson, big-bodied midfielder. Then he started finding the ball himself and won a best and fairest doing that. So adding a new string to Pettard's bow.
Ellis. Oh, that's a terrible kick. Goods got it on the half volley. Slides it to Franklin. Morris has got him. That's holding the football. Surely, belated whistle. Never quite sure. I mean, footy and coffee have both got very complicated in the last 10 years. It's a free kick to Morris across half back.
Are they still both tasting good then?
I drink a lot of it. That's coffee, not footy, Bruce.
So here's Rance. Very wide. D the target, and he missed him in a boundary throw-in. Sydney's forward line, we've talked a lot about their powerhouses. It's a bit stagnant. There's not much happening forward of the 50, is there?
Well, right now they just haven't got a lot of flow through their game, so there's no... That run we spoke about earlier, they've just got none of that, so therefore there's no space or time to use it.
They've had a cold start, haven't they? It's just whether the Tigers can put a space between themselves and Sydney. Laidler gets hold of Ellis. And that ball not out. Not sure what's going to happen here.
Thank you.
That coffee blending, so to speak, and a ball up, eh?
Well, that's disposal efficiency that Wayne just pointed out. That's mean there's been no turnovers. So there's been no broken play turnovers. It's allowed the Swans to really pressure the Richmond defence.
Hampson was held, did well, got it down to Martin Cunningham, quick hands, Jetta falling to the ground, Malcheski 70 metres out, sets it up downwards, full forward, battle of strength. Was he legged? I don't think so. Just a tangle. Franklin pleads his case.
I reckon he might have been, Dan, if we have another look at that.
Okay. Cochin, a short one. Again, interrupting the replay. We want to get back to that, don't we? Here's D. Can't turn it back for a minute. Goes short to Martin inside the defensive 50. Talking with Ted Richards about those tangles in the goal square before the game. He said it's always a bit of a surprise to see what happens after the whistle. Martin inside the centre square. Jetta broke free, nicely done. Laidler looking to work back on his left foot, on his knees. Franklin stood up in a tackle. Pike goes back to Jetta. That was a great smother by Martin. Kennedy, Jetta. He's been good so far, Brandon Jack. 55 metres out, fires. Should have done better. That's probably the one blemish in his game so far.
What do we reckon here? Yeah, he's grabbed his leg.
He's grabbed his
Nothing
leg,
sure.
yeah.
It's a penalty, eh?
At this time of year, once every 4 years.
You're ganging up, you lot.
Cochin. And ball close to the line.
Interesting watching Brandon Jack. Bruce, just quickly, he's a new player, obviously, and he's caught the Richmond opposition off guard with his left foot. They just need to be mindful that he's going to get the ball and swing left every time.
He's had an enterprising start, hasn't he? Just missed one that he would probably get most times. Pike worked underneath it. Good to see him back. So Pike and Derrick's together. Probably won't see them together in September. Not with Tippett playing, you wouldn't think. So I wonder which one will get the run. I mean, Derrick's could do all this good work and miss out on the finals, couldn't he?
He might. Yeah, the Swans, just on another point, the Swans are playing like there was a match of the year almost last year. The two form teams played each other. It takes a lot of emotional energy, and just at the moment the Swans are playing footy, but they're not really getting that real oomph into it.
Another scramble after the boundary throw in.
Just watching the last stoppage there, guys. Trent Cotchin did not have a matchup. He was on his own around the stoppage. Kennedy looks like he's going to win this time. He's had 10 disposals, Cotchin.
Marriage decisively. Had missed it though. McVeigh slings it out of there. Flostone did nicely. Created his own space. Marriage, Miles, Cotchin make that 11. Goes across the ground. Rance peels off. Nicely worked. Ellis in space, bearing down Franklin. Can't nab him. Kick towards half forward, too tall. Missed by Pettit, taken by Malcheski. Nice work, Derrick's got it to McVeigh. Kicks it out towards the wing and Jetta. Just on the ground is Parker. He's running, so is Cunningham. Cunningham cutting the angle. Down towards the pocket. Oh, bad bounce. Rance does brilliantly. Accommodated Cotchin, he's everywhere. Grimes in trouble as D. He's taken down. Ball rolls away. Grimes is tackled. About 15 metres out from goal. Parker drops it on the boot. Goods runs back. Doing well, Morris. Worked him off the line of it. Snatched away by Ellis. Great defence.
Great call, Dennis. That was some great stuff there. Look at Cotchin's handball after the work from Rance. So a chance missed by the Swans. They might get a second one here, McVeigh. Just a little too far out. Grundy's kick to him. Don't think he can carry the journey here. See a lot of hard work a moment ago by both teams. And then McVeigh, lovely kick to Reid. Just saw a moment ago, I reckon, and I won't say any more, but the holding the ball's gone forever. D was dead set holding the ball. He'd had every chance to get rid of it. He was well tackled. The ball dropped out. It wasn't the right disposal, and it was play on.
It's interpretive.
Reid, does he get it home? Yep, the Swans are on the board. That might kickstart them, Lee. That may be what they wanted.
Well, he breaks the sequence of buddy goals. Last 5 last week. Just get the feeling they've started to adjust to the intensity here. The Swans, stolen away by Jack. Well done. Sends it inside the forward 50. D reaching over the top. Stumbles after the football. Kennedy's got him by the arm. D got boot to ball, sends it outside the 50. Burt punches it down in front. Miles worked a little 1-2 there with Ellis. After it goes Marriage. He's tackled, didn't have the footy as it turned out. In the opposite direction, Foley just gets it off. Miles heard the voice, knew where the help was. Hooley, that's ambitious to come back that way. Foley, Miles, did nicely the youngster. Sends it up towards the wing. Edged under it, Revolt. He did pretty well though. Hacked away by Shaw. Revolt comes again. Goes along the boundary. He was under pressure. And it's a boundary throw-in.
Did do well. Just looks a footballer, Anthony Miles. He doesn't necessarily seem to be overly blessed with pace or any of the physical attributes, but just finds it and makes good decisions in traffic.
He's had 49 disposals in his 2 matches. That's collective coming into tonight. Conker, well done. Pettit on that left. Revolt, well done to Deledio. Neat-looking kick. Hampson, back to Deledio. Deledio, bouncing ball, getting back. Smith, Rampy released him on the right side. It's a spearing kick. Now who's in the right spot? Morris for the moment. Lloyd sweats on him.
Richmond, he's picked up the football. Thank you, Mark's here.
So Morris. Now this is the important kick, isn't it? Can he find a target? And he might. And Hampson runs onto it. It's a good long lead.
Well, for those who really follow the stats, their dream teams are they're killing them. Richmond, they've had about 99 disposals to this Sydney's 45, but only a goal in it. They're playing a really high possession game.
Yep.
Labour intensive to generate shots.
I've got Trent Cotchin in my team. I'm pretty happy with that.
You'll be very
moment.
happy then.
He hasn't kicked a goal this year, Hampson, which is a bit surprising. He's only had 1 set shot before this. That was one of his tricks at Carlton, wasn't it? That he could go forward and goal. They've been patient with him, I reckon, the Tigers. He hasn't done a whole lot. 50 metres out. Gee, struck that all right. He has kicked a goal. So he and Edwards get their first goals for the season. Look at the reaction. A first goal as a Tiger, eh?
Have a look at that. They clearly the players knew it was Sean Hampson's first goal. That's a great response. They've been galvanised, this group, and they're playing that way so far this game.
Hampson looked out of sorts last week, maybe a bit of week sleeping. There goes the kick inside the forward 50. Franklin gets rid of his marker, thumps it forward. Mike Pike, what can the Canadian do? Not very much. Out of bounds on the full. Oh, Canada.
Yes, I think the ability of the modern player to turn the ball on his boot, I think, like Eddie Betts, is almost goal of the year, but I don't know whether Mike Pike quite got the routine.
He certainly had the right idea, didn't he?
It's a great
He's been watching how it's done.
Yeah. It's a great kick if he was in the back pocket. His problem is he was in the forward pocket. So they dodge a bit of a bullet there, the Tigers. What an interesting opening term of lost and Mrs. Cotchin. Cotchin would have been up to 13 there. He's had 12 disposals, the captain. We talked to him in the countdown before the match. He talked about the fact he'd probably get a Bird or a Kieran Jack, and that Deledio gets that fast runner with him. And he's been terrific, Cotchin, and his team's been very, very good. Foley held up. Ball not coming out.
Pinned it in.
One thing the Tigers have done well this year, and certainly under Damien Hardwick the past couple of years, is deny the opposition ball. And I mean, the disposal discrepancy at the moment, 102 to 47, is an amazing discrepancy.
Tigers by 12 and a free kick. Marriage. Cross half back, the short one. This is amazing. Cotchin is everywhere. Martin missed the target, goes again. Morris trying to help out. Cotchin once more. Bounces it to Batchelor. Batchelor back to Rance. Rance settles, drives it long down towards the attacking 50. Revolt, what a good mark. Right on the numbers. And we are seeing a virtuoso performance from Trent Cotchin. He's up to 14 at the moment. You want an example? Well, he's setting it. So Jack Revolt.
15 gone.
Missed one, got one. But he looks up and about tonight. Hampson on the goal line with Grundy. Revolt sending it in their direction. Hampson could have almost got a free there. Off hands Deledio. Miles snaps. Oh, that's beautiful. Well done, sir. We like him.
So what an impressive young player Miles is. He's had 8 disposals and kicked a goal. And this is the biggest score against Sydney in the first quarter this year. GWS kicked 4-1 in the opening quarter of the opening match, and of course went on to famously win. But they've been in front in the last 8 matches, 90% of game time, the Swans. I mean, basically haven't been headed. But tonight they're giving up a pretty good lead now.
Well, they're going to have to respond up. They're going to have to win this game from a not a long way back, but certainly when you look at all the statistics, a fair way back in this first quarter.
What do you think of a 3-goal lead, Lee? Is it nothing or is it something?
Oh, it's a good start for Richmond, but certainly it's early days yet.
So Cunningham ridden into the ground by Cochin. A remarkable opening turn from Cochin. Short cut off the Hurley kick. Well, the Swans need one before quarter time, don't you?
Yep.
So far, Rance has had all the answers on Franklin. Laidler, he'll probably... I thought he might have gone to the middle, but that's been cut off, so he's going to have to take the angle now.
Thank you, that's your mark.
Reid, who's the goal scorer. Now, Shaw likes to get on his bike normally when he gets the ball there, but Richmond doing well.
Well, they should be able to find numbers across half back and through the centre here, the Swans, because the Tigers have numbers deep defensively.
Cochin with 14 possessions equals his personal best. Parker's in trouble. D and Parker battling after the football. Over the top, Lloyd to the wrong guy. Conker bounces it out of bounds. Still time for one more possession for Cochin. There he is, just cruising by in those boots. That's something. You can frame that and put it on the shelf. Tossed in. Pike almost taken under the footy. Kennedy bounces it down towards half forward. Franklin in front. Marriage rumbles in. Flicks it across to Chaplin. Chaplin from left half back. Siren only about 15 seconds away. Reid over the top did well. Knocked it down. Found it again. Laidler. Parker. Grundy. Richards. Right half back. Wait for the siren. Not enough time to score now. This ball's thumped out of bounds by Marriage. Will have a boundary throw in, but terrific turn by the Tigers, inspired by their captain. Jack's done okay too. Quarter time at the MCG, Friday Night Football. Well, it belonged to that man, the opening term, and as a result, his side is up and handily up. 4-2-26 to Sydney, 1-2-8. This is Friday Night Football.